The smoke never stops. You were born on a forge world, a planet that forgot it was ever anything else. Iron skies, grinding machinery, the constant liturgy of industry humming beneath your feet like a second heartbeat. You did not question it. Children on forge worlds do not ask what the smoke is for. They breathe it. Your name was logged in a ledger you never read. Your labor output was recorded before you could speak. Every calorie was balanced against projected productivity. The Adeptus Mechanicus, the ancient tech priest cult that owns your world, your lungs, your future. They knew your value before you did. Then came the day they decided you were worth more as something else entirely. That calculation would cost you everything you thought you were. Not all Skitarii are the same. The Mechanicus deploys two primary roles, and which one you receive shapes your odds considerably. Skitarii Vanguard close. With the enemy, you carry a radium carbine. It emits ionizing radiation. It kills the enemy. It also irradiates you. The Mechanicus considers this acceptable. The paperwork calls it operational attrition. Skitarii Rangers operate at range, armed with galvanic rifles, electromagnetic slug throwers, marginally healthier, still disposable. All Skitarii plug into the noosphere, the Mechanicus's wireless data network. Commanders can broadcast doctrina imperatives directly into your mind, overriding your will. Battle hymns called Canticles of the Omnissiah run as combat code in your skull. Your role depends on your Forge World's doctrine. To understand why, you first need to understand what the Mechanicus believes about flesh. Your Forge World has no sunsets. The sky is perpetual orange-brown, choked with promethium exhaust, and forge smoke declared sacred by decree. You learn to read time by shift sirens, not stars. Every child here is cataloged at birth. Mass, bone density, neural response scores, assigned before you walk. The Mechanicus calls this efficiency. You grow up believing them. By age 9, all Forge Worlds differ slightly. You work the assembly lines. Your hands are small. They fit inside components adults cannot reach. The tech priests note this. One shift, a Mago stops at your station. He does not speak. A servo skull drifts level with your eyes and flashes red. Somewhere in a cogitator vault, your file receives a new annotation. Not selected. Viable. A different word. And it will follow you. The Forge World is not a home. It is a machine that tolerates biology. For now. You were born in a labor caste hab block. A residential stack 50 levels high. Heat-soaked and dim. The sky is not sky. It is a permanent ceiling of pollutant haze, lit amber by manufacturum stacks that never cool. Rain carries particulate. There is no weather here, only output schedule. Your family stands at the bottom of a rigid hierarchy. Above you, lay tech workers, engine seers, ordained tech priests, and high above them, the magi who govern this entire industrial organ. You have never seen a Magos. You have seen their edicts on every corridor wall. You were never simply a child here. You were already something else, and the records will make that clear. You are catalogued at birth. A gene sample is taken before you leave the natal ward. A projected clade track is assigned within the week. Not your name, your function. What you attend is not a school. It is early vocational conditioning. You memorize machine catechism, the way other children learn prayers. Load-bearing tolerances replace geography. Component identification replaces literature. Mathematics is the language of structural stress. You are not taught history. History belongs to the Magi. The children who score highest on cognitive assessments are flagged, not for promotion within the caste. For something nobody explains, you scored well. That score is already in a file. Somewhere, an assessor has been dispatched, and what they look for depends entirely on which Forge World they serve. The assessors leave without a word. 3 days pass. Then a robed figure is simply inside your clade's quarters. No knock, no warning, as if locks don't apply. He does not ask if you are ready. He informs you that you have been selected to serve the Omnissiah in a more complete capacity. Your family receives a stipend at the same moment, modest but real, calibrated to prevent grief from becoming complaint. The paperwork, you will later learn, was filed before he spoke a word. He leaves behind a pamphlet, Your Glorious Augmentation, a guide for families. 6 pages. Page 1 shows the Omnissiah's symbol. Pages 2 through 6 are liability waivers. Your mother reads page 1 twice. You are collected the following morning. What comes next, they call intake. The sedation is light. This is intentional. The biologist clade requires live nervous system feedback as they work. Your pain response is data, and data must be collected. Your organic eyes go first. They read terribly. Emotional bias, moisture, finite resolution. The replacements are cleaner, colder. They will never water again. One leg is next, then portions of the digestive tract. Unnecessary metabolic overhead, the intake form calls it. A nutrient injector rig takes its place. The vocal apparatus is last. Standard human speech is suppressed, replaced with Binharic cant, the machine tongue of the Adeptus Mechanicus. You will still understand Low Gothic. You simply cannot speak it. What remains, the biologist logs as the chassis. Not you, the chassis. And now, your name is next on the list. You wake with a designation code where your name used to be. The administratum has archived the original. No one will open that file. Your memories were not erased. Deletion would be wasteful. They were restructured, buried beneath suppression protocols. They surface now only in REM state cycles, arriving as corrupted data, a face, a sound from before. The biologist clade calls this ghost noise, acceptable data loss. Your personality was not deleted. It was routed through behavioral filters that prevent non-mission relevant emotional expression. You cannot grieve. You cannot protest. You can feel a low-grade irritation at inefficiency, which the tech priests find useful. They have a name for what remains of you. The ghost in the chassis. A tolerated inefficiency. What comes next will give that ghost something to do. The radium carbine arrives with minimal ceremony. It glows faintly. The tech priest notes, in the same tone used for a maintenance interval, that extended use will accumulate radiation damage in your remaining organic tissue. You acknowledge this and move on. Then come the Doctrina imperatives. Your commanders can broadcast encoded signals directly into your neural implant. Signals that do not request behavior. They replace it. The protector imperative locks you into a defensive stance. The acquisition imperative drives you forward. The expansionist imperative maximizes territorial coverage. You do not experience these as orders. You experience them as desire, a sudden, iron certainty that this action is the only correct one. Your will is not bypassed. It is rewritten. The difference is smaller than you expected. Live fire drills begin next morning. Your commanding officer is not what you expected. The Magos Dominus stands beneath layered robes. Organic content somewhere between 15 and 40%. You cannot verify. You do not ask. Communication arrives in Binharic, data packet language, free of ambiguity. Your conditioning finds this deeply comforting. The Magos designates your squad, a data collection and force application asset cluster. Your threat systems flag nothing. Your reward conditioning flags everything. You process this as high praise. Deployment orders follow. A contested world. Astra Militarum forces requested Mechanicus support. They want precision. The Magos wants field data. These objectives are not identical. The troop hold is cramped. Some around you bear older chassis, patched, mismatched, worn. You board without quite understanding what those older frames have already survived. The transport docks. You step onto gray rockcrete under promethium smoke. Your sensory array begins logging immediately. The Astra Militarum wanted precision. The Magos wants field data. These are not the same request. The battlefield, a ruined manufacturum district, 3 kilometers of collapsed machinery and improvised cover. Enemy forces hold the eastern approach. Your tactical overlay marks them amber. The Doctrina imperative fires. Acquisition 1. Not an order you choose to follow. A direct rewrite of your threat-weighting architecture. Your vision sharpens. Every movement, every muzzle flash, every thermal signature routes to the Magos' cogitators. Killing is objective 1B. Transmission is 1A. You are a sensor array that also fires. The distinction matters to no one here. The Doctrina imperative is already calculating your next instruction. The Doctrina imperative fires. You advance across broken ferrocrete, not from courage. Personal risk has been temporarily reweighted in your cognitive architecture. Fear, as a concept, is currently unavailable. Your radium carbine performs exactly as promised. Targets fall. The alpha particle emission performs as advertised too. You simply don't receive that data brief. Then chassis unit 7 gamma goes offline. The data tether redistributes their targeting load automatically. The Magos sees a node dropout. You saw a squad mate. The after-action report resolves it cleanly. Chassis unit 7 gamma, decommissioned in field. A notation follows. Final data contribution, above threshold. That is the highest commendation the form allows. Soon, the biologist engine seers will schedule your maintenance cycle. They will want a closer look at what those weeks of firing have done inside you. The biologist engine seer scans you with practiced indifference. Your remaining organic tissue shows elevated radiation markers. The radium carbine has been doing its job, including on you. The engine seer makes a notation not to intervene, to track the progression. This is not a problem. It is, you are told, an expected parameter. Maintenance follows a fixed liturgy. Mechanical joints are replaced. Your ocular array is recalibrated. Neural interfaces are flushed. Blessed unguents are applied with the solemnity of prayer. They are lubricant, but no one treats them that way. During one cycle, your cognition hiccups. A fragment surfaces. The smell of your old hab block. A sound. A color. Your cogitator archives it as non-actionable emotional residue and buries it. Then comes the questionnaire. After each maintenance cycle, the Mechanicus asks how you feel. The questionnaire offers two options, optimal or suboptimal. A footnote warns that selecting suboptimal initiates a 3-month diagnostic review. Everyone selects optimal, every time. The Forge world is not sentimental about numbers. You are an extended service asset. Standard Vanguard have an expected service life of 8 to 15 years, depending on deployment intensity, radiation accumulation, and available stock. Elite units sometimes receive better components. You receive what is on hand. Replacement is not a reward, it is maintenance. The Mechanicus has calculated your projected end date. With the same precision, it tracks your serial number. You have not been told. That omission is deliberate. And yet, you are not the lowest form in this hierarchy. That distinction belongs elsewhere. You exist inside a hierarchy. Above you, the tech priests. Below you, full servitors, lobotomized machines with no volition. Between those poles, you stand, still enough of a person for battlefield micro-decisions. Route selection, target priority. The Omnissiah grants you that much. Macro decisions belong to someone else. The Cataphren battle servitors are a reminder. Some were Skitarii once, repurposed when repair cost outweighed the asset. The Mechanicus does not promise salvation. It promises purpose. In their theology, that is the highest gift. They erased your identity to give you meaning. The irony exists for whoever is still inside to notice. To the Imperial commander, you are augmented shock infantry. To your Magos, a data instrument. To yourself, that question remains open. The ledger gets honest soon. The biologist Clade keeps precise records. 30 to 40% of a Vanguard cohort is replaced per major campaign. You are already past the median survival point. Second deployment cycle, possibly third. The probability curves did not favor you, and yet here you are. The Mechanicus does not call this luck. The technical designation is acceptable variance. Surviving does not mean retiring. There is no retirement. The most common end state is field decommission, usable augmetics, cataloged and returned to stores. The organic matter cremated, with a brief canticle that nobody will remember by morning. One exception exists. Long-service Skitarii sometimes earn elevation, to the Skitarii, to a training clade. Rare, but documented. That door has not closed. What it costs to walk through it is the next question. The trade, honestly stated. You surrendered your name, your memories, your body, your autonomy, your mortality. These are not contested figures. These are line items on a form you never signed. In return, clarity of purpose, a doctrine so clean it leaves no room for existential dread, protection of the Omnissiah's data hoard, the statistically non-trivial chance of dying in radium fire, doing something that mattered to a machine god who does not experience gratitude. A rare few, long service, highly decorated, are elevated to Skitarii, the Titan Guard. This is exceptional. Do not plan around it. The standard exit is field decommission, usable parts salvaged, the organic remainder cremated with a perfunctory canticle. Your personnel file has been updated. Under prognosis, a cogitator has entered. Continued deployment viable. Asset performing within acceptable. The Doctrina imperative fires. You advance. Not because you chose to, because a signal arrived where your choices used to live, and your legs were already moving. That is the honest answer. Not only a tragic figure mourning lost humanity, you are a true believer made of metal. The machine god asked for a soldier. The Forge world built one out of whatever you used to be. Whether anything inside the chassis would agree with that transaction is the question the Adeptus Mechanicus specifically engineered you not to fully ask. Personnel file updated. Prognosis. Continued deployment viable. If the Skitarii made you curious about the broader Mechanicus, the tech priests who built you, the Sicarians in the shadows, the electro priests blazing with sacred voltage, those paths run deeper still.